The temperature dropped 14 degrees in the last 2 hours, and your breath is no longer misting. It is crystallizing. You are in your car, stranded on a rural highway, and the engine died 40 minutes ago. Outside, the wind is hitting 30 miles an hour across open farmland with nothing to break it. Your phone is at 4%. The nearest town is 11 miles east. You reach into the back seat for the sleeping bag you bought 18 months ago, the one rated to 20 degrees, the one that cost you $289 at the outdoor retailer, the one the salesman told you was military grade. You unzip it, crawl inside, and feel nothing. Because a sleeping bag alone, in a vehicle without heat, in wind this savage, is not a survival system. It is a false promise wrapped in nylon. Your hands are already losing dexterity. Your feet stopped feeling normal 20 minutes ago, and without understanding why, you are already losing this fight. But crumpled on the floor of your back seat, wedged under the passenger chair, is a gas station newspaper from 3 days ago. On the shelf behind you is a box of contractor trash bags you never unloaded from last weekend. And in your center console, still in the packaging, is a Mylar emergency blanket you picked up at the checkout line for Water 49s and forgot about completely. Total value, under $7. Total thermal capacity, enough to keep a human being alive through an Arctic night. You just don't know how to use them yet. But the men sleeping under the Wabash Avenue Bridge in Chicago do. And tonight, they are warmer than you. The survival gear industry generated over $3.1 billion in revenue last year, and almost none of it is designed to actually save your life. It is designed to make you feel safe long enough to buy more. A $300 sleeping bag, a $180 bivy sack, a $220 battery-heated vest. These are products engineered for controlled campies, trips and REI photo shoots, not for the raw, unscripted brutality of a real cold emergency. Here is the bitter truth they will never put in a catalog. The people who have actually mastered cold weather survival without any resources are not survivalists with YouTube channels. They are not ex-special forces selling courses online. They are the homeless veterans of this country, men and women who served, came home broken by the system, and learned to survive sub-zero nights with whatever the streets offered them. They solved this problem decades ago. The gear industry cannot profit from their solution, so it gets buried under sponsorships and affiliate links and $400 product recommendations. What they know, what veterans sleeping rough in Minneapolis and Detroit and Denver figured out through necessity, is something the gear industry prays you never discover. Strip away the marketing, strip away the Gore-Tex labels and the tactical branding, and the physics of staying alive in freezing temperatures comes down to a single, brutally simple truth. Your body generates heat. It generates it constantly, even in extreme cold. The only job of any survival insulation system is to trap that heat close to your body before convection and conduction steal it away. That is the entire equation, not the material, not the brand, not the price tag. Trapped air between you and the environment is what keeps you alive. The U.S. Army Field Manual on Cold Weather Survival, FM 3170, has stated this principle plainly for over 50 years. It is not a secret. It is just inconvenient for an industry built on expensive complexity. The first material in this system costs you nothing, or at most, a single dollar at any gas station still open after the storm hits. Newspaper, not as a metaphor, not as a historical curiosity, as active thermal armor. A single layer of crumpled newspaper creates thousands of tiny air pockets between its fibers. Those air pockets trap your body heat the same way down feathers do, through dead airspace, which is the actual insulating mechanism in every sleeping bag you have ever owned. The science is identical. The cost is not. Homeless veterans in cities across this country stuff newspaper inside their jackets, wrap it around their legs beneath their pants, line their shoes with it before sleep. They are not doing this because it is the best option available. They are doing this because it works, and because they have tested it in conditions where failure means death. Layer crumpled, never flat. Newspaper against your torso and thighs first. Flat newspaper compresses instantly and loses its air pockets. Crumpled newspaper maintains loft, and loft is thermal resistance. You are creating, for $1, the functional equivalent of an insulating underlayer that outdoor companies sell for $80 under a different name. But here is the problem that most people discover too late, usually around 2 in the morning when the temperature bottoms out. Newspaper absorbs moisture. Your body sweats even in the cold, especially when you first start warming up. And that moisture wicks into the newspaper, collapses the air pores, thickets, and turns your insulation layer into a cold, wet compress pressed directly against your skin. You have made yourself colder than you were before. This is the moment that kills people, not the temperature, the false confidence. This is precisely where the second element of this system earns its place. The second piece of this system is a heavy-duty contractor-grade trash bag. Not a kitchen bag, not a grocery bag, a black 42-gallon contractor bag that costs roughly $1.50 from any hardware store. These bags are designed to be nearly vapor impermeable. They are thick enough to resist tearing, and placed correctly, they create a vapor barrier between your insulation layer and your body. Cut armholes. Wear it like a vest directly against your skin, under the newspaper layer. The bag stops your body moisture from migrating outward into the insulation. It keeps your newspaper dry. It keeps your dead airspace intact. And because the bag also reflects a portion of your radiant body heat back toward you, it functionally doubles the thermal efficiency of the newspaper layer wrapped over it. Navy cold weather survival training, specifically the protocols used for personnel operating above the Arctic Circle, emphasizes vapor barrier systems as critical in wet-cold environments. The principle is identical. The Navy uses specialized vapor barrier liners that cost $60 per unit. You are using a contractor bag that costs $1.50. The physics does not care about the brand name. The third component is wool, specifically a thrift store wool sweater or a pair of wool socks, available for $2 to $3 at any Goodwill or Salvation Army still operating. Wool is the only natural fiber that retains approximately 80% of its insulating capacity when wet. Every other fiber, cotton, polyester, fleece, loses the majority of its thermal resistance when moisture penetrates it. Wool does not. It is why military cold weather uniforms relied exclusively on wool for the better part of a century before synthetics entered the market. Pull the wool layer over your newspaper and bag assembly, and you now have a 3-layer system. Vapor barrier, dead air insulation, moisture-resistant outer shell, assembled for under $5. The fourth and final piece is that Mylar blanket. But here is where almost everyone gets it wrong, and I need you to understand this completely. I have to stop you here, because what I am about to tell you could be the difference between surviving the night and not. Most people wrap a Mylar blanket around themselves like a cocoon and seal the edges. They believe more is more. They are wrong. A fully sealed Mylar system traps 100% of your body moisture against your skin. Within 90 minutes, that moisture saturates your insulation, destroys its effectiveness, and begins actively cooling you as evaporation accelerates. You have built yourself a slow-acting cold trap. Use the Mylar as a wind shell and radiant reflector only, draped over your outer layer. Open at the bottom for ventilation. This reflects up to 97% of your radiant body heat back inward while preventing wind from stripping the warm air your body has been working to build. Open at the bottom, your vapor and moisture can escape downward. Closed at the top and sides, the wind cannot reach you. Total system cost, approximately $7. Total survival capacity, documented by the lived experience of veterans who have survived nights at minus 20 degrees Fahrenheit in urban environments with nothing but what the street offered them. Every winter, men and women with combat experience, with service records, with skills that took years to build, survive temperatures that would kill the average gear-loaded prepper within 6 hours. They do it with newspaper and trash bags and wool pulled from donation bins. They do it because they understand something the survival industry has spent billions of dollars trying to obscure. Warmth is a physics problem, not a purchasing problem. The body is the furnace. Your only job is to keep the heat it generates from escaping. You do not need $300 to do that. You need $7 and the knowledge of how those materials work together. You now possess that knowledge. Most people watching $400 product review videos tonight do not. Right now, before you close this video, I want to ask you one question. What is one item already in your home or your car that you have never thought of as survival gear, but that you would grab first if the temperature dropped tonight and you had nothing else? Leave your answer below. The best answers in this comment section come from people who have actually been in situations where they had to think this way, and those answers are worth more than any gear guide ever written. If you want to keep mastering the kind of survival knowledge that the industry will never sell you, because they cannot package it, cannot brand it, cannot charge $300 for it, then join this community. Subscribe now and become part of the people who refuse to be kept ignorant by an industry that profits from your fear. The knowledge that keeps you alive was never locked behind a price tag. It was always there, living in the experience of the people the system forgot. We are here to make sure it reaches you before you need it.